So today, I think that the world faces a significant challenge. I mean, there are over 1 billion people today who are food insecure, who don't have enough food to be healthy. And the population is going to grow by a couple billion people over the next few decades. So if we have a challenge at 7 billion, we're clearly going to have a challenge at 9 billion. As you suggested, the amount of food, the amount of land and amount of water is probably not going to increase to produce this food. So I think a good deal of the solution has to be innovation and science. And that's what universities like the University of Nebraska do. I think we are going to have to work on the production of crops that use less water, that may be able to be grown more densely on the land. We are going to have to help people understand here and elsewhere how to be more productive. That's a great place for the university to be. So I think that there are many areas in plant science and use of water, in food processing, where we are going to be an important player in helping to address a global challenge. So the University of Nebraska seems to me is well positioned to be deeply engaged in these issues and has a history of being engaged. For years we have been, not only in this country and in this state, but around the world, working with local farmers and institutions, NGOs, universities, governments, in addressing problems related to ample food production and safe treatment of food and agricultural issues related to economics. The establishment of the Doherty Institute for Water for Food, I think, is an example of where the leadership in the university took advantage of strengths on our faculty, of interests of a donor community that wanted to support the work at the university in terms of water for food. So we established a center, we recruited an outstanding director, we have really occupying now a key place in the world, I think, in this discussion about how you more effectively use water for increased productivity in agriculture. So I think that's one example. I think Innovation Campus is another. Here's a case where we looked at a kind of a new model of university private sector campus that was going to be focused on themes that had a great deal to do with Nebraska, where we had great strengths. Those happen to be food, fuel, and water. So I think this provides us with an opportunity to link the capabilities of the private sector with the capabilities of the university in addressing some of these very issues. How do you feed a growing world population with a finite amount of resources? There are some universities that are disinvesting in agriculture, in the research and in education. We're not going to do that. In fact, we're upping the investment. Innovation Campus, largely about those disciplines. Our new Water Institute, the Angler program. There are many areas where we're raising more private money than ever to support areas related to agriculture and natural resources. We think it's critically important. It's important for Nebraska for as long as any of us will be around. So I think the University of Nebraska is going to be a key place where science is done that affects food production. And so it's a natural for us to be a leader in this area, and I think that'll have, as we talked about, far-reaching effects. Nebraska is always going to be involved in agriculture. If the University of Nebraska is known as one of the places in the world where people go to learn about how to be more productive, about how to do better plant science, about how to do better breeding, about how to stretch water further in terms of food production. If this becomes a place that is a magnet for the best talent, it's enormously beneficial to the state of Nebraska in a very direct way. I mean, we will benefit from the research that's done here. Our students will benefit from the talent that's here and the education they get, and the state of Nebraska will benefit. So I think it's not difficult to think about why we would want to be the epicenter for plant science, livestock production, water use. It's great for Nebraska. It also gives us a great opportunity to participate in solving some of these great global challenges. Well, I walked into a meeting in China where the president of a local university said to me that because of the work of your faculty, we have doubled the yield of corn in our region with half the fertilizer and half the water use. So how far-reaching? That's pretty far, and that's a pretty dramatic impact. And you know, I'm president of a big university, but it mattered far more to them that one of my faculty members had written software that they use in their region to be much more productive to grow food. So I think the research at the University of Nebraska and at places like this has no limits, and there's no reason why we can't be an effective partner with people anywhere in the world.